Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, welcome, 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 welcome. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome, welcome to Chat Room with Max. It's been a beautiful week, a lovely one to be precise. Today we're going to be talking about something very, very interesting. So interesting that we have a lot of guests that are going to jump on today's topic. To do justice with me today, of course, you guys know him now. He needs no further introduction. We're gonna try not to take time today because everybody needs to talk, okay? And we'll just talk. Okay. So with no further ado, let me introduce to you my favorite banter partner, the one, the only. Audience, are you ready? You ready? Okay. The one, the only Sam Soft to everybody.
How you guys doing?
Yeah. This your crown. You and this your crown. You and this your crown.
You are listen. You are supposed to say Igwe. What did they worry you today? You make your stars they reduce.
I hear you. Okay. So everybody, like we always do this, right? We want you to comment and let us know where you're watching from. And type your name where you're watching from so we can say hi to you, okay? And a little house cleaning rules, or is it housekeeping rules, house cleaning rules, anyone you want to call it, house rules. Yeah.
Remember to what?
Remember to like where you're watching this from, subscribe to this channel, hit the notification tab so you know just when we're on, and lastly, share.
There is love in sharing, so keep sharing.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. So we're gonna dive right into it because we have a lot of things to say today. And before we begin, before we bring up our guests, you can hear me saying guests. Our guests plenty and plenty well. Okay. So before I bring up our guest, we have a first comment is from Adebimpe, my wonderful sis. She's in the house, everybody. She says, hello, cuz. Welcome, sis. Welcome to the show.
How are you doing, cuz?
Yes. Victor Moses is in the house. I can see him in the back room. He's getting ready, but his camera is down. So Victor, fix your camera. Okay. So before we bring in our guests, our special guests, let's talk about let's give a brief summary of what we're going to be talking about today. So, Sam Salsa, growing up, this your crown is distracting me, I'm not gonna lie. But, thank you. Growing up, you will hear things like
it make you feel like a subject. It humble you. And a part of the topic we want to talk about is fathers will be oppressed children.
Okay. Growing up, have you been in that situation where when you were growing up, you will hear things, your parents telling you things like, can't you see your friend Chibuzo? Can't you see how well he's doing? Why can't you be like him? Why can't you be like God? Which kind of picking you give me? Things like that. So, Samsof, were you ever compared as a child?
No, not my father. My parents didn't do that to me, but my siblings, my senior sibling, my senior sister, my elder brother, they used to do that to me. But
okay, Samson grew up in a nice home. Let's keep that.
My parents don't.
Samson's parents did not compare him. No. Okay, good for you. Good for you.
At that comparison, my elder sister used to do that. Oh, it's your mate that used to do this. In my mind, I won't respond. In my mind, I was like, they don't look like me. I don't look like them. Okay. But I will not respond. So immediately you open your mouth and say, they don't look like me. The next one is going back into your mouth. Right. With a slap.
So before we bring up our guest again, if you're watching this, please share the link from wherever you're watching so your friends, families, everybody can join in, even your enemies, so they can get to learn from this group of young people that we have, this beautiful young people that we have. And we have a parent also who is going to be talking about, in fact, we're going to have a mother and daughter duo today. We have a comment from Rachel. She's clapping. Hi, Rachel. We have Uzovik in the house. He says, hello, my people. Greetings from Uzovik. Uzovik, we see you. Welcome, everybody. So, let's dive right in. And with no further ado, I want to bring in everybody else that is backstage. Ladies and gentlemen, let's begin first of all with parent first before we go into the the children's side. That will come and talk on behalf of the children. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the one, the only Jesse Wealth. Everybody, welcome, welcome to the show, Jacinta. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're
Thank
welcome.
you so much. Good evening,
Yes.
everybody. Good evening, Minister Sam. Good evening, Minister
You
Max.
are welcome,
Welcome, welcome.
Jacinta.
Yes. And next, we want to welcome the one, the only Nene. Everybody, Nene is in the house. Everybody, hi, Nene. Can you say hi to
Good
everybody?
evening.
Yes, yes.
Hi.
Good evening. Great, great, great. Next, we want to welcome the one, the only Stephanie. Hi,
Good
Steph.
evening.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome. Alrighty. And when Victor finished working on his camera, we'll bring him on. Victor, I can see you down backstage. Your camera is still off. We have Ina in the house all the way from Namibia. She's watching all the way from Namibia. Hi, Ina. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. So let's begin. Topic for today that we brought everybody on board for is, where is the topic, technician? Should comparing your child with other children be encouraged or discouraged? Should comparing your child with other children be encouraged or discouraged? So let's begin first of all. Let's begin. So what do we understand by let's begin with what we understand by comparison, comparing two children. Has anybody here been compared before? Who wants to go first? Who wants to go first? Between Nene and Stephanie, who wants to go first? Have you been compared before? Let's take Nene
Uh,
first.
Let me go first.
Mm-hmm.
So, I feel like it's something that children is one of the first battles you need to fight because it doesn't matter how young you are, there is always this not meeting up or somebody else doing better than what you are doing and almost making you feel like you're not doing anything at all. So,
Hmm.
yes, I have been compared.
Okay, great. So, when you say you've been compared, I mean, were you compared by your parents?
Yes, yes,
Oh,
yes.
okay. We're going to go into details with that. Stephanie, talk to us. Have you been compared before?
Yes, I've been compared
Hmm.
before. So I feel it's like something in common in Nigerian homes that brings reduce the confidence of a lot of teenagers growing up.
Okay, okay,
Hmm.
okay, okay, okay. So
What
one,
else?
two have been compared. Let's bring up Victor. Hi, Victor. Welcome to the show. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Evening from this part of the world, at least.
It's afternoon. Yeah, evening everywhere actually. Have you
Yeah.
South?
It's morning in Australia.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, Australia. Oh, wow, you're in
Oh, it's morning
Australia.
in Australia.
My
Okay.
God, that place is far.
No, I'm not in Australia. I'm in Germany, but I'm saying that it's morning in Australia.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. You're in Germany. Okay,
Yeah,
you're not that far.
yeah.
So,
not too far away.
Queen Asosa, your camera is still wobbly. All right, Victor, welcome to the show. So,
Thank
Victor,
you very much.
we
Appreciate it.
want to ask you: have you been compared before?
So, for me, I think it's it's on the flip side. I'm the one being compared to lots of other kids.
Ah,
Like,
all those good
so it's like,
boys.
oh,
yeah,
so
exactly.
you're the intellectual.
Okay.
You're the one
Like,
causing the problem.
Is it there?
yeah,
There was causing the
Now they
problem.
call to Allah.
Now
So it's
them.
like every parent is like telling their kids, "Can't you see Victor? Can't you see?" And for me, it was such a burden. I think both sides of the coin is really really bad. Whether you are being compared or you are the one being compared to, whichever the case, it's
Yeah,
really not healthy, to be honest.
Minister,
Because like it comes with this pressure, everybody expects a certain standard of you. Everybody expects you to behave a certain way. Like you have already been compared to all your friends have been lambasted because you behave a certain way.
and
Like
your
everybody
friends will
is
not
saying,
like you for that.
you understand? You get into lots of trouble.
Mm.
finally, we found the problem.
Yeah, we found the problem finally.
So,
Stanley, your camera is not on. Welcome. We'll bring you up once you're all set. Okay, okay, okay. So Godwin Edache is in the house, everybody. Hi, Goddy. He's watching from Nigeria. Okay, so comparison. Let's go deep into comparison, right? We want to let's bring up Stanley first of all. So because Stanley will be parent number number 3 on the show that will talk on behalf of the parents. Okay, so let's see if Stanley is all set. He's still not all. Okay, I think he should be all set. Hi, Stanley. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you. How are you today? How's everybody? Good evening.
Good evening.
It's Stanley, the Atlanta, Georgia.
My apologies for coming
Bishop.
in late. Got a late phone call that I was.
No problem. No problem. So we have Stanley in the house. He's going to be parent number 3, who will be talking on comparison. Because the last time we brought this topic up, Stanley said there was good comparison. I would actually want to hear it. So from what everybody is saying so far, Stanley, so
Yes.
before you joined, the 2 beautiful ladies in the house said they've been compared before by parents, at least. And then this wonderful young man who just released a single, we'll talk more about it later, Victor, said he's one of the people that they compare us to.
No, you are making it that he's one of the people causing the problem.
One of the people causing the problem in the world for children.
In the world.
Making us look bad. Making our parents not like us. Okay. So let's begin with Nene. Do you want to tell us a particular incident where you were compared and you felt really, really hurt by that?
Okay. So growing up as a child, I've always been someone who's like very, very particular about my schooling and my academics. One could say I'm crazy for straight A's. That I get really flustered when I don't meet up my academic expectations.
Okay.
And
network. Okay, she's gonna be back. She's gonna be back. Yeah,
I was really enjoying what she was trying to say. But let's go to the next candidate.
Stephanie, give us. Okay, let me do something here real quick. Okay, Nana is back. No, Nana, your network is down. Let me do something real quick so people can see something real quick. Okay, so everybody, you can see we have a perfect resemblance. Person number 1, person number 2.
Yep, exactly. and I'm waiting for the person causing the comparison. I think it's the person on the right, eh?
On the person on the right.
Yeah.
All right, Steph. Give us an instance where you were compared that you felt really, really horrible about it.
I would say it's more on academics. Like me and my sister, I would say she's more into reading and more into books than me. Like she's a science student, and her capacity of education, of learning is very high, and mine is not that high sometimes. So my mom tends to try comparing the both of us. Like if Rita wants, like, he gave me a point that I felt like changing courses, like trying to study medicine and other things because she was studying medicine and I'm the senior, so I felt that I have to be better or I have to be more smarter or more intelligent. She's more book intelligent and more book smarter than the rest of us. So it was more on the book aspect that I felt a little bit bad.
Wow. Okay. Huh. So
can I ask her a question?
Go ahead.
So Stephanie, what did that comparison helped you or slowed you down?
At a point, it did. It slowed me down at a point. But with time, as I started growing up, I started coaching my own self. At a point, I had low confidence and low esteem. Even in reading, I don't pay attention trying to read. I feel if I tried harder, I won't do it perfectly. So with time, I started coaching myself, and I'm like, if I don't try better, what they are comparing me to is going to be truth.
Yeah.
So with time.
Okay, that means that even though it slowed you down, but you according to you, you said you started working hard.
Yeah, on myself.
So, in other words, it slowed you down. At the same time, it helped you because it
Yes.
seemed like you improved because it made you work harder.
Yes.
So that means that both ways, it affected you in one way.
Your
and then-
Honor, he's leading and misleading the witness. I would not take that. I would not take that. No, I would not take that.
Come.
No. You are. That is what we call leading the witness. You are leading her to give you answers that you want to hear.
No, I was only trying to
Objection,
ask
Mr. Stanley.
overrule.
You cannot overrule. I'm objecting. You cannot be overruling it. That's why I call Mr. Stanley here. So
all right, Mr. Stanley, what do you think about my question?
Let's talk about the effects of comparison. But before we do that, Kid Bro is in the house, everybody. Welcome, Kid Bro Steve.
Kid Bro.
He says, Guten Tag, my brethren. That's good evening. Victor, you want to translate that?
Guten Tag, man, brother.
Yeah, Guten Tag, brother. The gate is here.
You say?
The gate is here. I'm asking him how he's doing.
You see this one. We said translate. You are greeting him back in the same language.
On welche Staatswohnen Sie bitte?
You see, not be only. You see, I've been causing
It's
confusion.
you. It's people like you that make them compare us. It's people like you. It's okay. It's okay. Ladies and gentlemen, before we continue, please and please don't forget to like where you're watching this from. Do not forget to subscribe to this channel. Do not forget to hit the notification tab so you know just when we come on whenever. And lastly, do not forget to share. Share.
There's love in sharing.
Because
sharing is caring.
And
caring is giving.
And
giving will make you receive.
Now, because they don't compare you, that's why I see the answer.
Stanley, don't rub me face tire.
Okay. Let's talk about the effects of comparison. Why, in fact, first of all, why do parents feel the need to compare their children to other children? Why?
We have to ask a parent.
Who wants to go first? Stanley, Jacinta, who?
The Jacinta that was accused, because the accuser is right here.
Okay, so let's accuse.
Yeah,
let's begin. Let's begin first of all with the accused.
Yes.
Welcome, Jesse. Welcome to the show. Can you talk to us? Why do parents compare their children?
All right, I would say sometimes parents compel their children not to put them on the negative run, but to make them sit up. Some would do that ignorantly. Then why some would do it in a way of making them to understand that you have to do better. You don't have to be where you are. So in a nutshell, comparison, it's not a bad idea. It's something that every parent, I'm not speaking for every parent, but it's something that I think that it should be, because it makes the children sit up, whether you like it or not. Because when you don't, I make sure I push you to a limit. I push you to that limit, that not to make you fall, but for you to understand that you need to sit up and do well. Because I feel that as a mother, if you don't do well, I think the blame would be on me. So you need to do well more than me. So I have to push you to that limit. And my dad compared me in a very negative way. And his kind of comparison was something that I could even commit suicide. But I choose not to. So I have to prove him wrong up to this day. So that gets into me. So you can see that I didn't just start comparing her. Not that because it was something in me, but it is how I was wired.
Okay.
So I changed my own way. I changed my way of comparing her.
Modified it.
Yes, not to be that too harsh. But sometimes I can be brutal, she knows. But I try to do it with a limit. So I think that has helped her a little bit. Sometimes she will get upset and look at me and tell me, "Mommy, I will make it, and I will make it. You will see it." I will just shut my door and laugh. I said, "I got it." So it's sometimes it's also in the positive way, not the negative way. So comparison is a must in a family.
Wow. Okay.
But you know what? Can I ask you?
Sorry, I want us to just let's keep to the trend of the particular question, because I want to ask Stanley the same question so that we have everything in one row, then we can fire back with questions. Mr. Salisa, same question. Why do parents compare their children?
Comparison. I believe parents compare. I'm a parent. Parents compare their children with other kids for one goal majorly. There are two sides to it. It could be for improvement and success for the child, or it could be as a way of punishment and trying to uh, make the child feel bad for whatever mistakes they've made. Comparison is good, like I've always said. There is the good side, there is the bad side. As a parent, you have to know your child before you start comparing. If your idea is to compare the child with another child for success, you have to figure out a good platform to present it to the child that will motivate the child to want to achieve that success that you're aspiring for them. However, parents, from my experience and looking at other parents and other friends that I had who had parents that compared them, and for some, it was really great. It pushed them, like Stephanie was saying, it pushed them forward to do good in spite of. Those parents who do that are usually parents who compare their children negatively are usually parents who regret their childhood and never attained what they thought they should have attained, or maybe parents that have hot temper and are short fused when it comes to their children. But the primary thing that I've seen with negative comparisons is parents who feel like they've fallen short of what they should have achieved. So they are vexing that anger on their children, thinking that it will help them, but it really is not. They may not be vexing it on them to push them or drive them to success. It may just be they're venting it out on them because the frustration, they can't put the blame on anybody else, but they express it out in negative comparisons on their children. So comparison is good, but you have to be careful how you present it to the child. Good and very positive comparison leads to success. However, some children have taken negative comparison and worked it out and pushed themselves to success. Trying to, not trying to, but saying to themselves that they will not become what that person is amounting for them. I'll give you an example. Steve Harvey always talks about his story, how he was compared to failure and was told that he would never amount to what he's doing today. And the lady that said that to him today, it was a negative comparison. Today, he's responding to her with a lot of love. He said he would be on TV one day. He started as a kid, but he would be on TV presenting one day. And the lady said, "You look at your mates. They can speak fluently. They can read easy and good. You cannot. You are not fit for that position." Today he's on TV. So it's kind of like a payback, in my own opinion. He sends her a brand new TV every year so she can watch him on TV on his shows. So comparison can be good and it could be bad, but you have to know your child. If your child cannot handle it, then don't push out negative comparison. If the child is strong and self-driven and you think can handle it, sometimes it to push the child to success. Like Stephanie said a minute ago, at one point it made her feel down, but she had to recalibrate, push herself to success, and turned out positive.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, sir. Samsoft, you have a question for the parents?
One of the questions I want to ask is, can you share a specific instance where you compared your children and how it impacted your relationship with them?
So which of the parents want to go first? Let's go with Jesse Wealth, first of all.
Okay. Can I get that question back again?
Okay. can you share a specific instance when you compared your children or like a child and how it impacted her and your relationship with her?
Okay.
So
Okay.
before you answer that question, let's just take some comments why you think about that question again. So the question is asking
Think
for
of it
example.
very well before you answer.
Yeah, I think So Kid Bro Steve says condemning. Okay.
Start
He
from the
said
top.
something. Oh, sorry. He said so. He said, comparing your child is not always fair. The only positive that may be achieved is motivation. But we all have different gifts that flow at their own pace. So leadership should be in encouraging, not condemning them. Rachel says, reason it can never be good is that every child has their own personality, strengths, and weaknesses. Focus on each child's strength and build it from there. She furthermore says, comparison is this versus that. So maybe we should define what comparison is first for people to understand. She now defined and said, she also says, comparison is the thief of joy by President Theodore Roosevelt. That's what the president said.
No.
Comparison is the thief of joy.
No.
Kid Bro Steve says, challenging your child with knowledge in their gifting is a positive effort. Not comparing, challenging. Ina says, a child needs inspiration from his or her parents. Rachel says, thank you, Ina. Inspiration is what kids need, not comparison. So let's go back to Jesse and hear what the answer is.
To Jesse, I want to respond to Kidbo when he says challenging your child with knowledge.
Yes.
In their gifting is a positive effort in their gift. What about the child that doesn't have a gift?
Every child has a gift.
I know they have a gift, but the gift is not
known yet.
It's not developed, or the child is not really making any progress. You know, when the child is not making a progress, you will not know where the gift of that child is.
Well, then that's now where your assignment is to focus on figuring out the gift of your child and where their potentials lies, than comparing them with people like Victor that are already doing good.
Yeah, that's where the comparison comes in.
Victor, that should go lie.
I'm mean for it this evening.
So the reason why I said Victor is this. Victor, if people can see Victor right here, right? Victor Moses was one of those children that everybody would say, can't you see Victor? Can't you be like Victor in your life?
Victor is the one that you always compare their children with.
Yeah.
So he was the state of comparison.
Yeah. When they say, oh God, why did you give me a child like this? Why did you give me a child like Victor?
You know, it's funny because I remember back in the day, growing up as a child, I used to have a friend in college, Government College, Ughelli, where I went to school. When I go to visit him, his father would always compare him. They used to live in some, not a high-end area, but one day the father was like, see your mate. Not be your mate, be that for debate, for TV they talk to. Why you not there they debate? You don't there they talk my Gary finish. And the boy responded and said, Papa, Michael Jackson are your mate too.
Let's go into the competition of
comparison. Okay. Jesse, can you answer the question
now? Okay. Minister Sam asks, how does comparing my child to other keeps a relationship in between us? If I would drag it like that.
How does it affect your relationship?
Yeah. Number one, I have tried to make my children friends. Like, they are my pals, they're my friends. You can tell me anything, but it doesn't mean that I will not tell you what you don't need to know. It doesn't mean that I will not compel you when it is necessary. I would do that. But
So when is it
already I have,
necessary to compare?
sorry,
When is it necessary to compare?
at every time you can compare a child at any time that child messes up.
Oh, so it's like a punishment.
Yeah,
Not really.
you heard what
It
Stanley said now. You say it can be used as a punishment.
Yes, yes. Sometimes, and when you are angry as a mother or as a father, you can say things, you know, which it is like that. But there's this kind of already. My children, I think, it's because we are all on the same height, so we are friends already. There's a way if you come the way they talk me, you'll be wondering who is the senior. So there is already a working relationship between me and them. And then when I tell them, they can still tell me back and like, mom, you are not supposed to say this now, what you are saying is not right, but I will insist because I am the mother. I will let you know that this thing that you are doing, look at what this one did. And then it got to a point, I noticed the kind of friends she was hanging around with, so I have to like start getting the kind of people I should or I want her to mingle with, then pair her with, okay, be like this person, go like this thing. But to tell you the truth, she could not cope with their standard of a high class because they were really different. But at a point, I noticed that they built a relationship. And then these other people, she now came back, mommy, you see this person, you say I should not go close, or you were saying it's like this, it's like this. We are no more because I found out. So when I pulled out, she would discover, and then she still come back to me. So already there's a working relationship between me and them. So no matter how hard I am, it doesn't stay 5 seconds. We are back again.
Okay. All right. So before Samsov asks Stanley the next question, I want to take this comment from Rachel. She says, you can motivate, encourage, and push your kid to be better without comparing them to other kids or anyone else. How do you know if the child would respond positively or negatively? That's a good question.
The attitude shows. Their attitude shows. The way they behave tells. It tells. And you as a parent, you can know. Unless if you are not paying attention.
Okay. Samsov, you want to ask Stanley the next question?
Stanley, are you ready for the question? Okay. What strategies do you employ to avoid making comparison between your children? So what strategies do you employ? What do you use?
Yeah.
So
What method? What strategies? Because like you said, some is for punishment and some is for motivation. So, but you have to. What are the strategies do you use to employ this comparison?
never ever compare your child with the aim of punishing the child. It always yields bad results. 2, never compare your child by exposing their flaws and negatives and leave them with that. It's like you're dumping shame on the child and their inabilities and leaving them with it to sleep over and wake up the next day. Never do that. The yardstick for comparing my kids, I do compare them. And I do ask them about their friends and their classmates. Now, the yardstick I use for comparing them is this. I never tell them to be like the next person. I always compare what is better than what that person is doing that they can achieve.
Can you give us an example, sir?
So I'll give you an example. And this one is written. My kid will come home and say, oh, this week our teacher said we should read 5 books. And I said, okay, good. I said, so how many of you read 5 books at the end of the week when your teacher asked? He said, well, we're 12 in the class. 8 people read 5 books and 4, one read 6, one read 7. I forgot the number the other one read. And I was like, oh, wow. So you see, how does that feel? It's like, well, they did well. I kind of feel the ones that read more books did well. I said, do you think you can achieve that? He said, yeah, I can. And I said, all right. You see, if you read more books than those kids, you will get more recognition. Not to say that you are better than them, but it will put you at a vantage point. So let's do this. How about this? If the teacher says read 5 books, can we try to read 10? He said, yes, I can. I said, I know you can. So we went to the library and I let him pick out any book he wanted. Of course, I have to look at them. His biggest books are on space adventures, sea life, and dinosaurs. And he picked out, to my amazement, 12 books. And we came home. By Friday, he was done with all the books. And when they were doing their book review in school, he said his teacher brought him in front of the class and used him as an example to everybody else of why and how they can achieve beyond what is expected. You know what he said when he came home? He said, Daddy, you know what? You were right. I could be better. I know how to do better now. That motivated him. That pushed him beyond looking at himself as not able to achieve 7 books, 6 books out of 5 that they were asked to read, that he could do more. And the gratification he got in class made him more excited and want to stay twice the number of books that they are asked to read in school. Until date, if you go to his bookshelf at home, I mean, all the shelves are stacked with books that his desk has books there running over. So those are positive ways to get a child to achieve above and beyond. Do not aim to tell the child to be like that person. Tell the child to be above. And for many of the great stars and superstars that we have, be it in sports, in finance, entertainment, whatever it is, their goal is never to be like. They always want to do more than the next, whoever their idol is, or whoever the person that they are aiming, they are trying to achieve what has achieved this. They want to do beyond that. And just on
So Stanley, you, with all the results your kids, when after they achieve what you're looking forward to, in what ways do you acknowledge and celebrate each child individuality and unique strength?
So this is what I do at home.
In 2 minutes.
2 minutes. How do you? In what way do you celebrate them? Like,
I've got a system at home. My children are rewarded with points that they can cash in on when they achieve a milestone.
How much?
So
that's private.
Every time.
That's personal.
No, I don't go beyond. I do not go beyond $50.
Okay.
And the cashing in has to be on something meaningful. So they have dream toys. They have things they like to get. The limit is 50. So you get points as you do great stuff. All right, here's 2 points to your bank. And then when they achieve the milestone, what do you want to cash it on? They tell me, and I get it for them.
Okay. All right. So we're going to take a quick commercial break before we come back to the youths now and take some comments.
Yep.
All right, because we need to talk.
Want to hear from the youths.
Yeah, we need to hear from them because all these parents are just.
Nene is back.
Yeah.
Hi, so glad you are here with us today in Chat Room with Mex. I am Kay and I hope you are having fun. Please subscribe, like, and lastly share. We need to let the world know what we are enjoying here today in the chat room. Now let's go back to the show.
All right, so it's been fire from the parent side, justifying comparison and all that. We're gonna hear from the youths now, and we're gonna ask them a question. Yeah, we're gonna hear them respond to the parents, and get their own point. But while Stanley was talking, while Stanley was talking, majority of what I was hearing was not the kind of comparison that we are used to, because the kind
Mm-hmm.
of comparison that me am used to is like, for example, that example Stanley gave, where he say, "Oh, how many children read the book? You know, did you read the book?"
That's
Our
a
own
very, that's a
comparison,
nice one. Yeah,
our own comparison is
it's different.
who took first in your class. It was me. So Victor
Hey,
took
I
first.
got that
Yes.
too. I got
You, what
Everybody,
did you take?
everyone who doesn't get that one.
You, what did
I,
you take?
I got loads of that one.
You, what did you take? I got
Maybe your mate
for
carry
six or
first.
8. So you don't fit take first. You cannot take first in your life. See your mate Victor is there taking first.
Your own is just to be carrying drops all over the place.
Your own is to be carrying 4. Come and be eating my food in the house.
People that take first don't have 2 heads.
People that take first don't have 2 heads.
Exactly. People
Does
that
Victor have 2 heads? Yeah. That's the kind of comparison that we're talking about. So now we're gonna go over to the youth. Let's go to the youth. Let's ask some questions. First of all, before we ask the youth some questions, let's take a comment from Rachel. Rachel says, "No, Mr. Stanley, that is not the comparison we're talking about. You encourage and motivate your child and not compel. You don't say the people that read 8 books have 2 heads. Okay, see, that's what we're talking about.
exactly.
I honestly wouldn't call this example of comparison. You handled
Allow
it
me
perfectly.
to respond to that person when you're done.
Okay, you can respond to this particular part.
Now, listen. What I said. Never let your comparison be aimed at demeaning your child. You are talking about a vexation of anger to your inabilities as a child. I got loads of that. Listen, do you know water cane?
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, we used to have them named after us at home. And when the expectation is not met, that thing will be back.
Yeah, what I
Is
came.
that good? No. So why would I, knowing this, want to compare my child in that way? Even if the child is not doing well, I know already the experience. I have had it. Did I like it? No. Why would I want to do that to my child when I know that I got it and I didn't like it? And it's not because I could not achieve it. I just needed that good comparison that will show me the reason why that other person is being put on the same pedestal with me. So what are they doing that is different from what I'm doing, and how can I achieve it? They compared me, but they never gave me tools or ways to get myself to where they want me to be or beyond it. So no, we cannot seek comparison to say, do they have 10 heads, those that read 10? But no, you're demeaning your child.
Okay. All right. Rachel furthermore says, I honestly wouldn't call these examples of comparison. You handled it perfectly, and I don't think there was any way better. There was any better way that that situation could have been handled. Yes. So that's yeah.
No.
Nelson is in the house. He says, "Hi guys." Hi Nelson. Ina says, as a parent, you observe what other kids are doing, but to have a positive impact on your child, you draw inspiration. She wanted to say, for example, I guess she's still typing. So let's begin. Let's dive straight to the people above, our young people. You've heard what the parents said. All their reasons for justification, for the justification of the comparison. My first question to the people, I want to say my first question to Nene, because Nene was actually speaking when her network cut her off. My first question is, how do you feel when you believe your parents are comparing you to someone else, whether sibling, friends, or classmate? How do you feel? How does that make you feel?
Whenever I'm being compared, I don't really see any positive aspects in comparison, because the comparison that I was exposed to growing up was not the positive kind. And it always made me feel like I didn't have any strength to want to do better because somebody else is already doing better. So what's the point of me trying to outdo them when they're already doing better than me? It always made me feel like I was nobody, like I could not compare, like I could not meet up, basically. It was it was very demoralizing for me
Yeah.
growing up. Not like I was a child that struggled though, but it was really, really hard to pull myself together, knowing that I had only me and other people that were around me that are supposed to be my support system are busy comparing me to other people. So it
Wow.
wasn't a good feeling at all.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. Stephanie, have you ever had that conversation with your mom when you tell her what comparing you with your other sibling or other children does to you? And if you have, how did her answer make you feel?
I can't remember if exactly. Maybe I have, maybe during a conversation, during an argument and I'm telling her that you comparing me to my younger siblings is not nice. And she said, and the only thing I remember her saying is that it's for it to make you better, so you go and try better. So if I'm comparing you now, go and try better. That was the
Mm.
only thing she said.
Okay, okay, okay. Victor, before Samson asks his questions, Victor,
Parents, are you
you
listening?
that they are busy comparing other children to you as the
Yes.
gold standard of childhood or childhood. How does that make you feel? Are you happy? Are you say yes? So that me that they use as a yardstick. How does that make you feel?
Like I stated earlier, it was, I mean, initially I would feel good about it when other parents, especially it was mostly from other parents, they would say, oh, look at Victor and all of that. And I'll feel good. But eventually I would get very, very negative reaction from my friends because they would feel like I'm the one always getting them in trouble and all of that. And it also had
Very
this
bad boy.
pressure that it
Very
put on me. It put so much pressure on
Very
me.
bad boy.
very bad
I
boy.
always felt the need to do more, even in areas that were not my core area of strength. I would feel the need to just do better because I just had to do better. I just had to meet because everyone had expectations of me. They've already bragged to their kids about me, that kind of thing, and it puts so much pressure on me, to be honest. Growing up as a kid, um, but maybe that also helped me to be whatever it is that I am today by God's grace. I'm
Of course,
grateful.
if you won't make
But
your
I don't think
friends
that is healthy for any kid as well, whether to be
running away from
compared or to be the one being compared with others.
Okay. My last question
I'm
to
sure it's going to have a lot of challenges because your friends will be angry anytime you are coming to their to
I don't
visit
come.
their house. They say,
This
"Come,
one don't come.
this one don't come again." My father will be
I'm
comparing me
sorry, I
with
hope you
him.
didn't lost me because I lost you
Yes,
forever.
Victor.
I think his network is gone.
Mm.
So Stephanie, how does that particular like how does that make you? How does that define or change? Does that change or define your relationship with your sibling in any way when you're being compared to them?
At a point, it started making me. It changed the way I communicate with my sister. But at some point, I just grew out of it.
Okay.
So you see, that means you see that can actually develop jealousy.
Sibling rivalry,
Yes.
actually.
Yeah,
Yes.
But
Okay.
Rita has never been jealous, right?
she just
You're
said
not
yes
talking
just
of
now.
Rita.
She's not talking of it.
You're not talking of Rita.
We're talking of the person you are comparing to the other person you're using as a yardstick.
Exactly.
How does it make her feel? It creates that rivalry, it creates that hatred, that silent hatred right there. Where
please.
I can remember when I was little growing up. I actually one day I told my dad, I was like, among all your children, I'm the one you hate. Because
Stephanie tells me that.
yeah, because that's what happens. And you feel like you're being hated, you're not being loved like other children, because why can't you be like this? Why can't you be like this? Why can't you be like this? So Samson, go ahead with your question, sir.
Okay. Now for the youth, those of you that have been going through all this question is for you, to your parents. So what advice would you give a parent who may be comparing their children, and how can they be more mindful of this behavior?
Let's start with Nene.
Okay, so I would say parents should completely get rid of the word comparison when they plan to raise their children, because some children might not see the positive aspect of being compared to someone else. I feel like parents should replace that word with more positive words like motivation. Just the same way somebody already said in the box about motivating them to do more than they are expected to do. That's motivation. I feel like that does not have anything to do with comparison. So parents should also be very careful with their words and how they dispel them, because as much as some parents might like to motivate their kids, most of the time, because of the way they put the words, if they're putting it too bluntly to a child that cannot take a blunt approach, then it becomes a problem. So I think they should mind the way they put the words that they say to their children. They should use more positive words rather than comparing directly comparing, because as someone said in the comment section, comparison is this or that, this versus that, is this better than that. There is no such thing as match up to this equally. When you compare something, you are definitely saying this method is better than this method.
Very, very. That's a big
direct.
Yeah.
I'll say
It's just like
Victor is better than Mex.
Yeah.
Mr. Man,
just like
motivation. Motivating children doesn't work in our country.
Say
It
that again.
doesn't go
Hold on, say that again. I didn't hear that.
won't work in our
When you
country.
start motivating these children, they will not get it right. You have to compel them. Let them sit up. Why would you motivate them? Not like Mr. Stanley motivating his own children. They are telling them, I'll give you $50. I told my children, I said, look, when you get to the university and you don't give me the kind of GPD that I want, you are going to do both from Enugu State to. They told me, Mom, for what? Now I said, let's see. So you don't need to be motivating the children. Compel them, let them sit up. Not like let them know what it is. So that you are making this money. You know how you're working the money, you comparing, you will be motivating them. No.
Okay,
It doesn't
ladies
go
and
that
gentlemen,
way.
we're going to take a brief commercial break.
Hi, so glad you are here with us today in Chat Room with Mex. I am Kay and I hope you are having fun. Please subscribe, like, and lastly share. We need to let the world know what we are enjoying here today in the chat room. Now let's go back to the show.
I'm not sure people that they laugh. You know? What is she said, no.
I'm struggling to make
Let me say this.
life, and I'm coming to motivate you. Why?
So,
I wanted to say,
Jacinta, so you are not a motivational speaker anymore.
I can't be, sir. That you know, it's not my calling. Violent, I know.
The kingdom of God suffering. So you are doing the kingdom of God suffering violent, and the violent one is
By
taking
God,
you
they have to be better. They have to be better. They have to do well. No.
Okay, you mean they have to do well so that God can bless them.
Yeah, so that they will know that yes, even though by the time I am dead, they will say, their mother tried though.
let me say something.
The mother is very harsh.
Let me say something here. You see,
where is Minister Mex?
He's not there.
Okay, I think I know what happened. Yeah. He got disconnected by accident.
My technician was laughing, so they just kick wire.
You don't kick wire.
Okay, so sorry about that, guys. Okay, so please, if you have not shared, if you're a child watching, you're a parent watching, you better share. Okay, you better share.
If not, we are going to compare you with the people that are sharing.
We'll compare you with people that are sharing, and you cannot say anything about it. In this country,
the kingdom of God suffered violent, and the violent will take it by force, like Jacinta.
Let me say one thing real quick.
Hold on, Mr. Stanley. Rachel says that my comment was misread and misunderstood because I was stating the obvious and supporting your idea. Yeah,
Mr.
he
Stanley.
gets it. Yeah, that's what
Stanley. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
She was
so
on your side,
Mr.
Mr.
Stanley,
Stanley.
Mr. Stanley, hold on. We're still with the young. We're still with the young here before you come in. So, what's your next question?
Okay, my next question. Okay, the young people, are you paying attention? Before the kingdom of God is taken by violence, so don't be afraid. We are here to protect you. Answer the question. Tell them what you feel like.
Yeah.
Okay, now the next one is, how can open communication between parents and children help address issues arising from comparison?
Yeah. Victor, can you take this, please?
Yeah, this one is for Victor.
I think it's important that parents are actually open with their kids. I think this is like a culture that we don't have in Africa, to be honest.
Yeah.
Or let me say Nigeria more specifically. Like in Nigeria, it's not a thing. It's not a popular thing, at least for our generation or on the older ones, that you have you like have a sit down with your parents and like negotiate with your parents. It's not a thing. I think it's more popular like in the Western world, but like in Nigeria, your parents tell you what they want you to do. You have no rights to voice your opinion or your grievances or anything like that.
Yeah.
Just like we just experienced right now on live TV.
And I think that approach has worked for some, and for others it hasn't worked. Like Mr. Stanley stated earlier, sometimes you could actually go through a negative approach, and the child is able to like decipher it and makes it works for him. But it doesn't mean that it's still right. It doesn't make it right.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So at the end of the day, I think our parents can actually do better. Just try to not be open with your kids. Let your kids like be friends with your kids. And that's why we have like in the Nigerian context, it's very popular to see so many things happening to people's children, and the parents are not aware of it. Like everybody on the street knows that, for instance, let me give an instance. Everybody on the street knows that this girl, like you have a teenage daughter, and this teenage daughter is sleeping around. But you are only the parents don't know about it. Everybody on the street knows. And one of the reasons is because parents are not usually open with their kids. Like you don't create that friendship. I believe like you should be friends with your kids. So when I say friendship, it doesn't mean that your kids don't respect you or anything. Like it just means let that line of communication be open. Like let them be able to come talk to you about their fears and even their failures. Like if your child fails in school, they shouldn't be afraid to come meet you and tell you their results or something.
You know
because
what?
they know that you will encourage.
Cut you short.
Yeah,
that is a very good point. Because when I was young,
when you fail,
to this,
you're going to use corrector. Get the F8.
My report card, it was the scores were on the report card. Most of it was report cards. Stanley, you remember report cards?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So my parents said, you don't come to this house if you don't take this position. And fortunately for me,
Go and change.
the position was behind.
That very bad, boy.
I went and used my speech to change the.
Yeah, Sam. So
I changed the result.
you.
So you see the instance you just gave us now, Mr. Sam. You see the instance you just gave now. So at the end of the day, they are trying to be to steer you in the right direction with their strictness, but it has taught you it has made you to begin to exhibit some behaviors that are not naturally what you would normally do. Like now you're being fraudulent, you're already learning to do some things. You know, if they were more open with you.
That's soft. That's soft.
Did you?
That's soft.
My daddy was changing the law.
How are you?
That's bad boy.
Like bad boy.
Play music. You
Bad
play music.
Like bad
That's
boy.
soft.
You are a bad boy. You are
It's very bad.
Bad boy.
Wait, I don't hear this thing many times. Now the voice of who I think you be, not beat so.
Now him now.
And I
Okay, Victor, wrap up real quick.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, I think it's just important that we create that open line. And I also had a point in mind that I wanted to state. It's not necessarily related to the question, but like
Go ahead, please.
somehow connected. It's that I think at the end of the day, what comparison does is like Rachel stated in the comments, the this versus that thing. Like it's like you're comparing the persons, and I think that's where the problem is. If you're drawing out the virtues or the what do I call it now? Yeah, like the virtues from the. For instance, if I say, um, so look at this person, for instance, or I've taught my kid this particular virtue or this particular good thing, like for instance, the virtue of honesty,
Yeah.
and someone and a child exhibits it. I can use it as an instance, but it shouldn't be that it's when cases arise that we now start to say, "Oh,
Mm.
look at this person."
Oh
You
yeah.
like you should already be proactive in how you train your kids.
Mm.
Like already train them about these virtues. Let them know
Beautiful.
the virtue of excellence. Let them know. Let them have a culture of excellence.
Yeah.
And then when things now happen, you cannot begin to give them instances like, "Oh, you know what I taught you about excellence? You see what that child did? Okay, like the instance Mr. Stanley gave. You see what that boy did with reading extra than the teacher instructed. Yeah, that's a culture of excellence. It's not really like you're not directly comparing the persons, but you're comparing the virtue, like the good thing that that person has done. So I think it's important that we just draw those virtues because kids, you know what the Bible says about kids, that they are what's how do they say it? That foolishness abided in the heart of the child, but the rod of correction will chase it out. Like
Mm.
literally, kids are not smart as parents. Of course, they have not seen anything in life. They are inexperienced and all of that. So, but you as a parent would know how to motivate them and steer them in the right direction with positive words.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me read this comment real quick. Ina says to be compared can lead to a child developing low self-esteem. I mean, a child developing low self-esteem. Well, one thing I want to say, right, is this. One thing I've noticed is parents most often want to live vicariously through their kids. And when they notice that their kid is, they feel a certain way when they notice that their kid is kind of doing what they did while they were growing up. And
Yeah.
instead of adapting to the situation like Mr. Stanley did, because when Mr. Stanley was talking, the reason I like the questions himself asked him about the example, and he stated that what he actually said he uses as comparison, it's not actually comparison. He's motivating the child and the children, and that actually makes them better. That you help make them better. You don't always see this one, can't you see this one, can't you see this one, can't you see this one, can't. No, because when you do that, what you do is what I'm going to list now that I've gotten from everybody here today that said something, and this is what I got from everybody. So when you compare your child, they develop low self-esteem. If you're comparing your child versus or their siblings, that particular child you're comparing develops they develop sibling rivalry, meaning there will be that animosity, that hatred.
Next, do you know why? Do you know why that happens?
Go ahead.
The reason why that happens is because they feel you don't trust them. So for the fact that you lose trust in them, and you are their parent, it makes that they don't even trust themselves.
Yeah, low self-esteem.
Yes.
And now when
you
you're sorry, Stanley, go ahead.
You see, I think there are three words we need to pay attention to here. What we had growing up as children was not really comparison. We were condemned because
Yes.
of failure. We
Yeah.
were not compared. The contrast of what our parents were talking about were not to get us to move to either be like them or better than them. They condemned us. Remember, I said, never do that with the aim of creating a void in the life of the child. A lot of voids
The reason
were
the reason why I
created.
do not the
I
reason why I do not
I
agree
disagree with you.
the reason why I do not agree with you at all on
I
that
disagree
Wait
with
now,
you.
let me
is
land.
because hold on, sir.
Let
To
me
me,
let me land first.
okay.
Perhaps you see where I'm going to. They condemned us. What we were unable to do
Yes.
that other children were doing. They did
Yeah.
not compare
Okay.
Yeah.
what it looks
So hold on,
like.
let him finish.
Like
Okay.
somebody said there, this versus that, and how you can get there. All of these comparison and motivation intertwine. You have to, even as an adult, when you compare yourselves, when you work, your department you guys get compared. That's how you get promotions and so on and so forth. that even if you go to your boss and say, why am I not getting the raise? Why am I not getting the promotion? Why did this person
All
get
right.
it and that person get it?
You are dragging it. Okay. Let me
They show it to you.
let me
Condemning
tell
a
you the
child
fact
is
that they
different from
compare.
comparing a child.
The parents, our parents compare. This is what they do. Come, Peter. Do you know John? You know James? Yes, sir. I'm just coming from James' house right now. I'm looking at your result. And I just saw James' result. James carried so amount. And look at what you're carrying. You and James, are you not the same age? You are just eating every day here. But
There
look
you
at
go.
James.
You just condemned your child.
No, condemnation is when a parent tell a child,
You just
you
condemned
can
the
never
child.
make it. You can
Minister
never
don't
make it.
agree.
You will
Minister
not
Max,
be McDonald.
Minister Max,
That is
Minister Max,
condemnation.
my
The
father said
child.
this to me. My father said this to me, right?
You say
What
you want to be
Minister Sam
McDonald's?
just said. What Mr. Sam said. Your father will call you and say, "Did you see? Did you this?" My father will tell me, because you cannot be like that person, I would have used you for sacrifice.
Yeah,
That one is a different, but then it was
That's a
already
different
started
one.
with the
I now told
comparison.
him one thing. And I told him, I said, "Don't you know you have used me for sacrifice already? I'm not useful." Now, that was my mindset to a certain point, that he told me that you cannot amount to anything in life. He said to me that even our last born will be the one that will feed me. And I said that today. I said that today too. But did you know that my dad sent a message to me that got me broken this morning? That if anybody that will forgive him in this life, it should be me. Because everything that he said became the opposite. Now, every other person has turned their back. If it's not me, nobody pays attention to him. So he condemned me, but I pick up myself not to. So if not, I was being guided by myself, and with the level of exposure that I got into very early, there is a way. I tell my girls that I cannot advise you when it comes to relationship, because I don't trust anybody. So that is how it happens. So I have to like blind my eyes to those words that he tells me, that if he's sick now, I will not even remember what he tell me, and I will stand for him. So
Okay.
like he said, how some parents condemned their children. They didn't compel. Some,
No, they
I
Now,
will not say
not all,
all.
some of them see
Hold on.
compare.
Some. Now let me say why I disagree with you.
I think at the end of the day, sorry, can I come in, Mr. Max? I think the whole condemn thing is like an aftermath of the comparing.
It's an aftermath of the comparison.
So like there's like you said earlier, there's a positive aspect, there's the negative. So sometimes like after they've compared, and then they can draw some good virtues out and say, okay, you can try to improve on this, and then suggest ways. Don't just come and say you are wrong. Don't just cancel a child and then just leave the child like that. I mean, don't even cancel in the first place.
Exactly.
Like let them see how they can improve. Tell them that you believe in them. Let them know that yes, they are actually cut out for
For
greatness.
Nigeria family, bros. Now America, I go tell that one. Oh.
No, it happens. It
No.
happens. It
In
happens
Nigeria,
everywhere.
let me tell you this.
Wait. I never
Listen,
talk
guys,
yet, man.
let
I
me
never
point
talk
something
yet.
out.
I never talk yet.
Let me point this out, please, before I forget.
2 minutes. Sir.
If you guys understand the time that we're in now, a lot of these things are breeding weak children. The world is very voracious right now. You cannot sit down and want to baby spoon children when there are takeovers happening from culture to traditions to you're talking about children in developed countries. Have you seen the Japanese, who are the best in the world today? Have you seen how they raise their children? You think that we Africans we are tougher? The only difference is we beat our children hard physically. Go look at those kids. They're 3-year-old. They're already doing physics that kids in college are doing here in the U.S.
Yeah.
So if you want to breed your child in this time when there's a bunch of takeovers happening, there is a switch and shift in dimensions happening, and you're thinking about babying your child, I'm sorry, you will get a weak product.
Okay.
Yes.
So hold on. Let me say something. I haven't spoken. since the beginning of the show. I've
Yeah.
just been commenting. I've just been asking questions.
That's not true.
I've just been asking
You have
questions.
been laughing. You have been speaking.
Samson, do you want me to compare you now?
Yes.
No, don't compare my daddy.
When I compare, I will condemn.
After you finish comparing, then you make condemnation.
No, let me condemn.
And then I will do my own.
let me take this comment from Victor first of all before I say my piece. Victor says, my take on this is, rather than parents comparing your kids to others, they should discover what their kids are good at individually and channel the strengths towards that in terms of motivating them to be the best in what they do rather than comparing. Now, let me give you guys my story, right? I hardly talk about my story. I ask questions and everybody talked. So let me just say my little piece. Growing up, I was that child that I didn't really care for first position. No, as long as say we're in between, we're all going together, I'm fine, you know? So my dad noticed, and obviously, who's taking first in your class will tell him, why can't you take first? Well, I'm not interested. Until one day he brought him money into the equation. He said, if you have an A, I will give you 500 naira. If you have a B, you get 300. If you have a C, you get 100. Come and see me. That was the first time I ever took first in my life. Yes. And I got the money. But comparing me with other children made me the version of who I am today. To some kids, it helps. You have to study your child.
Yeah.
You have to study your child. You have to study the kind of child you have. Me, I get stronger, though.
African parents don't study no child, though.
I dey come. Me, I've been get stronger, though. Comparison is bad. I will say it. But it made me the tough guy that I am today. It made me that go-getter in life. It made me that guy that never gives up. It made me that guy that even if you back me up to the corner of the wall, I go drill hole inside that wall, pass through. Nothing stops me. You understand? As Mr. Stanley said, unfortunately, these days, this generation is different. Things are softer.
Yeah.
You need to understand the times and go with the times. Most especially, please, don't compare your children without providing them with the tools needed to succeed in life.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you don't have solution, don't even make any comparison.
Don't go and be telling your child, can't you see this one is taking first? That one is taking first. You, what did you take when you were in school?
Exactly.
Did you take first? Did you? Okay. The other day, my wife was, we were joking, we were playing, and she saw my WAEC result.
Why are you laughing? Did you use saliva to change the
No. I wasn't a bad boy.
Say it. That's no.
Did you use saliva to make the discourse?
She saw my WAEC result, right? And she was like, now wow, me when I'm busy getting A, you are here getting C. B. I think, do you know what C and B was in my time?
It's a big win.
You get C, you get B, especially C5. You see that C5? Everybody wants to see C5.
I did tell you.
C4.
As long as it's not D.
You just remind me of my friend in Dallas, his story. Very meticulous. He's very meticulous. He knows how to file his stuff. That guy is good. He has records. So somewhere his final result, GCE. You remember GCE back in the day?
Mm-hmm.
His result popped up. I don't know how. He was telling me on the phone. He said, "You won't believe these children these days." I said, "What happened?" He said, "Do you know that my child, man?" He said, "These children, they are inquisitive." I said, "Why?" He said, "My child saw my GCE result." You remember that F9 when we talked about that time when I did? I said, "Yeah, I remember." He said, "My child came to me and showed it to me that dad was this."
Exactly. Tell me, what is this?
What is this?
What is this?
He said, oh, you know what? That time, that F9 was the top of the class. The more the number,
As long as it come.
he said the more the number, that means the higher the grade you have.
Yeah, exactly.
But guess what the child did?
What did he went and
Because
Googled the
the guy
meaning?
is a go-getter. The guy is a go-getter. He drives his children really hard. And guess what? The children are doing great. Very, very well. But guess what the child did? The boy go computer, go Google F9.
Yeah, now.
That's a smart child.
Yes, sir.
What does F9 mean?
Well, as I was saying, now growing up, knowing that, okay, I was about to become a family man and all that, when I came to the United States, I had to change, I changed my orientation. Listen, it's not that your children are not smart. Your children are very smart. Most of your kids, it's just that they are not interested. You need to motivate them. You need to boost them. You need to boost them rather than kick them down. I came to the United States and all my results is. They pass A. You are graduating with 4.0. They pass. So it's always important for you to motivate your children rather than bring them down. Let's take some comments, please, before we continue. Rachel says, I grew up in Niger and had a typical Niger parent. So I disagree with someone saying you can raise your kids like that. You cannot raise your kid like that in Nigeria. So she also says, just the same way I have friends in school who didn't experience comparison from their parents and they are doing perfectly fine and very successful, not weak. She also, Kid Bro says, before comparing your child, you best make sure you are walking right. Very true. You have to set an example in the house. Your kids watch you.
They're looking for your results
than you think. Yes, I agree. Ina says, my late father never compared me to any of my siblings and mind you, he was an African man, but rather celebrated our uniqueness and inspired us to become and always say, believe in yourself. I like that. Yeah. Kid Bro says, you are the greatest example, not other kids. If you tell your child that you will amount to nothing, is the worst. That is the worst thing you can say.
Yep.
That out of your mouth comes blessings and curses. Take examples from your forefathers. You see, he made a point here that I actually like.
Yeah.
You are the greatest example that you can tell your child.
Yes.
Let your child compare you to them. There was a time when I was in secondary school then, boarding school, we're all bragging, oh, my father have this, my father have this, my father have this, my father have this. And I was busy bragging too with my classmates until when my guardian went and told my dad, oh, I didn't know you were Mr. This. My dad said, how did you know? He said, oh, your son too was telling his friends. When I came home, my dad, flogged me very well. And he told me, listen, young man, what I am, I struggle to become your own man. And since then, it stayed in my head.
And you're a man now.
My own man. Rachel is laughing. She said, too many C's. He was a very bad boy.
He's a very, very bad boy.
Well, listen. How many of you know what jam highest score is now? Unfortunately, what the requirement, I don't know if anybody have noticed this, all the parents here and the older folks here, what jam is requiring to enter the university now is actually lower than what we used to get.
Yeah.
It's
low. Every single thing is what I've known, since, let me use my years as an instance. In 2010, that was when I wrote my jam.
What I trying to say? We are too old. What's your problem?
It's always been dropping. At the time, in 2010, it was 200. That was the least cutoff mark you needed for university admission. But once I got out, by 2011, it dropped to 180. And then it started to go 160.
It's 1 something now?
Yeah,
Now it's 140.
140. I got
120.
200. I scored 260 something, and yet I still enter university quick.
It
It
has
was
dropped
really
to
tough.
something.
So the question is, why do you think it's dropping?
Because the standard has the it's just to say that it's just to show that the standard or what is expected of
Is
those
it
kids
like
is
the
What
Naira?
really
is
dropped.
making the standard? No, let me talk to Victor for a minute.
Stanley, we can't hear you very well. You're far.
Stanley, we can't hear you.
No, I can hear him.
Can
Okay,
you hear
good.
me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying you said it's because the standard is dropping, and I'm asking, what is making the standard drop?
To be honest, I think it's just a mix of different issues. Maybe the way the curriculum is being presented to the kids. It could also be I don't know, maybe because of now there's social media, a lot has happened, so there's lots of distraction for kids. And I feel like really Nigerians are not really handling the whole thing with social media very well. For instance, kids don't have like study time in Nigeria. It's not it's not something that you see in most Nigerian homes. Like kids have access to their phones 24 hours of the day. They can, so no, the parents are not really asking. Like I feel like kids should actually they should be monitored, they should be proctored. Like, okay, so between these hours to these hours, you don't have access to your phone. You have to be studying or something like that, or doing something related to your studies. But now kids are always on the phone doing Instagram, TikTok, or whatever, and so they don't even have time to study.
I
And so
can categorically tell you that one of the reasons why that score keeps dropping is because of the level of busyness.
No,
in the
examination malpractice.
Hold on.
Examination malpractice was becoming too much, and it's dropping the level of people to get into the university because they cannot get to the higher scores.
No, that's not what we're talking about. Why does the score keep dropping?
The cutoff mark.
Why is the cutoff mark dropping? If we're talking about examination malpractice,
it even proves further that the standard has really dropped. If people have to partake in examination malpractice to even get scores,
get lower scores
to go into university.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
it's
as
because
I was
of the
saying,
examination malpractice.
Max.
Yeah.
I was going to say now. Now what we are saying that contradicts what I was thinking already. What I was thinking before was that the children, even now, they were smarter than us.
Oh no.
Because wait now, the American, like, okay, with the children here in the United States, let me say the children here in America.
I disagree.
They learn faster because when I came to the US, my brain started working better than when I was in Nigeria.
Sam Soft, let me tell you why.
Because of technology. Actually,
technology is the only place that they are smart. That is it. If you come to read book smart, forget it.
Not really. Their knowledge and the information they have more information than us.
They just know how to talk.
Then
they know how to talk fluently.
There was certain information we didn't get at that point.
No. Sam Soft, when I came to America, right? When I came to America.
When you did Jos?
I did come. When I was in Jos. Yeah, I was in Jos. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I was in Jos and proud to be in Jos because trust me, we're one of the smartest people.
Proudly Jos.
Best weather.
Thank you. Now let me tell you why I'm disagreeing with you, sir. The reason why I'm disagreeing with you is this. When I came to America, I had to start school afresh.
Wow.
So I had to go back into the classroom with people from here, from America. Kids in America, yeah, based on technology, then because they have always been with it. When did we begin to have computer in Nigeria?
Yeah.
But when it comes to studying and knowing your material, trust me, we trump it well. That's why you will see Nigerian kids.
Get what I was saying. I was talking about the children of now, not even just American children. The children they are delivering.
You mean
now.
this generation children, these Gen Zs?
Yeah, these Gen Zs.
So we have them in the house. We have them in the house. Stephanie,
they're very smart.
Hold on, Victor. Stephanie, do you think that your generation, that's Stephanie and Nene now, do you think that your generation of students, do you think that that there's a problem with the educational system? Do you think technology is taking over and making you guys more distracted? What do you think the problem is?
I think there are both ways, because it actually improves in some things because you can actually research on more things in school through the internet.
You know,
I can also
it's
get
just
distracted too through the internet. So
mhm.
it's from both this thing. But I feel the high level of researching things about school is more higher than this being distracted.
Okay. Nene?
I feel like technology has its part to play
Mm.
in the whole situation, but it all falls under how much of a messed up education system that we have, and
Mm.
how our education system does more theoretical, focuses more on theoretical than practical. I feel like that's what those abroad have, how they have upper hand against us is because they are more practical, they are more practicing the things that they teach you in the textbooks. But we are all about the notes. We are all about writing it down and
Mm,
having the
mm.
knowledge from the books and everything. And concerning the jam score dropping, because I felt so bad knowing that when I was going into the university, I was going to study criminal law.
Mm.
And when I applied for jam, I scored, my cutoff mark was 250. I scored 246. And because of those four or those remaining scores that I did not meet up to, I
They
couldn't
gave
get
you
into the university.
they gave you Christian religious knowledge.
They gave me fishery.
Thank you.
They
Fishery.
gave me fishery.
Fish me.
Give you fishing. Hey,
Like it hurt now knowing that
so you're a
jam
farmer
score
now.
that was having this pedestal that was allowing students to want to read more and want to study, to want to
Yep.
like meet up to that cutoff mark, has been reduced now to absolute nothing. Like
Mm-hmm.
students who don't even study just go there, do tumbo, two
You can
scalaba,
get
anything like that, and they are coming out with 150 and they're getting into school.
Mm.
You feel me? So I feel like the education system has a lot of parts to play in it. And in the fact that if you see universities and the entries that they get, once they are not getting, I feel like I don't know if they feel satisfaction in knowing that 50,000 students will apply to your school and you are only giving admission to 3,000 students. And you
Mm.
don't let them know when you are putting your admission forms out that our admission, we are
Only
only having
3,000.
space for 3,000 students, and you allow children to
Mm,
write jam
mm.
and study, and then because of 1 mark or 2 marks you can't compromise because you already have your seat taken, and then in the case
Let
of
them
you
move
have to
it.
know somebody to get into school.
Mm.
That's
You
right.
feel me? Other people have already brought in their students, so out of that 3,000, 1,000 spaces are already taken, and then 50,000 children are fighting for 2,000 slots
Wow.
in school. So the education system is just fucked up. I'm sorry, mind my language.
So,
The education
so
system is really
Yes.
messed up. I feel like that's the bone of contention. That's the main reason why that whole stuff is, and it's
all right.
painful. I won't even lie to you. It's really
I know.
painful.
It's so sad.
So this
Mr.
is
Stanley,
why
go
I
ahead.
asked the question: Why do you think it is dropping by the year? When I was going to
Sorry.
school,
It's difficult to
can you
hear you,
guys
sir.
hear?
Can you come closer to the phone?
Can you hear me? I don't know why
Yeah,
you're
now we
saying.
can hear you.
All right. This is why I say I asked the question: Why is the educational system dropping? And I believe it's Jessica, the one that just spoke. If I don't get your name,
Nene,
Nene.
That's it.
that she just mentioned that parents are bringing their kids that had scored 150 or way below the mark, and because they know someone,
mm,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
right? These parents are parents who thought that motivating these children to be and believe in themselves would actually make them better people, rather than comparing them with actual reality. Have you heard children? In fact, let me go back to the last show. or maybe the one before the last one, the lady that sued her parents, she made some comments. They did not tell me that it would be like this, like this, like this, and that. And here am I. I can't handle it. So I'm going to sue them. Have you also heard children or grown adults who sometimes use the phrase, if only my parents had pushed me, if only my parents had made me realize? What they're telling you is, if they had showed me the other side of what true life is, I would have been better. I would have done greater.
But
I
what
would
if they
not be
can't
where
handle
I
it?
am now.
What if they can't handle it? I feel
No,
like Mr.
listen.
Max said something about
listen.
motivation, about comparison being bad naturally, but it made him who he is today. That is because he could handle it.
Yep.
No,
Some
okay,
kids
listen.
can't handle it. They can't.
Okay, listen.
Yeah.
Listen. You think you can't until you actually find out that you can.
No,
Don't
Mr.
say you
Mr.
can't.
Dan, I
Never.
think she's saying the truth. You see this, my two daughters. You see this Stephanie, she can handle.
Hold on now. Hold on. Let
Stephanie
me
can
let me
handle,
let me land.
Steph cannot handle.
Let me land with this one. Let me land with this one. When we started the show, my first comments were, never ever compare your child without the option or tools to success, or to get to where you are comparing them with, or what you are comparing them with. If you create that void, your comparison or motivation will be of no good. You have to know the child. It's important. You cannot use the same yardstick to measure for every one of your child. I have 4 children. I don't treat all of them the same way. I know the strengths of every one of my child, and I know
Okay,
their
you
weaknesses.
made your point. So, Nene, why
No,
were you
hold on,
saying
Sam. Let
you're
me
taking too
land.
long?
No, Sam.
You're dragging it. You're
Hold on
dragging it.
now. Hold on. I've not made my point. You're cutting me off. You said
Hurry
I
up,
can
hurry
cut.
up, hurry up, so that they can talk.
Okay, that's it. Don't worry. That's fine. That's fine. I'll stop here.
So, Nene, what are you trying to? Because we have to listen to them too. Why is she saying that you are not correct? She needs to respond to you. So you have to listen to what she has to say. So, Nene, what are you trying to say? What are you trying to bring?
A lot of parents justify. Okay, let me put it like this. As a parent, it's not everybody that gets married are ready to raise children. You need to understand that. For those parents that kind of condemn their children, most of them, that's the environment that they grew up from. That is what they know. That's the language they speak. That is the only way they know. They don't know anything else. Not everybody that gets married to give birth to children are ready to take care of children, are experienced, are wide search. They could be older than the kids, but I'm telling you, a 5-year-old could be saying more mature and more, like you'd be thinking, like, are you 5?
Mm.
I would love for the word comparison. If I could do it, I would eradicate the word comparison completely, because I see that parents are seeing motivation as, oh, sorry, be like this person, like a weak link to instilling knowledge in your kids. But it's not true. When you motivate your kids, it's just a more positive word to use rather than comparison. It's
Okay,
not
so
a it's not a
We're not talking of
they're
the word
sorry, or
motivation.
it's
hold on,
not
Mr.
it's not
Kelly.
that you
Hold on,
can't
Mr.
be hard on your
We're
kids when
talking
you
of the word
motivate them.
comparison. We're not talking of motivation. That's not the topic of
I
discussion.
know, we are talking
We're
about
trying to see the
comparison.
good sides or the bad sides of comparison. And
I
what I'm
know that
saying
that's not.
is, before you compare, your comparison is good. It's actually a great tool in life. You will get to know that at some point. If you eradicate it, the product you will get will not be too good, considering the changes that this life is going through right now.
Okay, let me
So,
jump
We're
in
not
here.
Stanley,
saying
Let
to
me jump
Stanley,
in here.
negatively
so hold
compare
on.
your child.
So, Stanley, are you trying to
Positively
say?
compare them.
Okay, I want to ask you a question. So, are you trying to say that the only way a child can succeed is only by comparison?
No,
That's not what I'm saying.
that's not what
You're
he's
getting
saying.
it all wrong.
No, but because you said you said something just now. You said for the child
That is
to
a
be able
mean
to
too.
get to where they are going to, they have to
A
be a way
tool
of
does not
comparison.
mean that it's the only tool.
Thank you.
It's a good
So
tool.
it's
You
not
can
the only
use
two.
it.
So that means parents
Possibly.
can, okay, Stanley, that means parents can use the other two. Like a child like Nene, a parent should use a different, because Nene don't like comparison.
No,
So
no, no,
the parents,
no.
Minister Menz,
Unfortunately,
hold on now, because you cannot just say no, and force things on them. See, it's the same Nigeria.
Technician, let's go on commercial break.
No. We want to use Nigerian style on them. We have to figure
No,
out a
that's not
way
what we're
for
saying.
them
That's
to
not
be able to. Now, okay, the
Wait,
child
saying.
says, I don't like, okay, wait.
Understand the time that
The
you are
child
in.
says he doesn't.
Stanley, wait, let's Absorb make his point.
Yeah, let me
Make
finish.
your point.
Because
1 minute.
if a child is not succeeding, you want the child to succeed. It's not why you're making comparison. If you want that child to succeed, that's why you are making comparison, right? Now, the child comparison is not working for the child. Are you not going to use another method? Are you going to
Like what method?
comparison?
What method can be used?
You just said it. Can you tell us, please?
He's not
Listen
there. Point
again.
the other
Because
point up. Yeah,
That's
point
why
it
you.
up.
That's why you need to be Nene. That's why you need to be. These parents pay attention, be attentive, be selective, and be ready for the Holy Ghost radioactive activity.
You are a bad boy.
Pay attention. Not only you are shaking your head. You cannot say no to the children all the time. The children, okay, we need to use other methods.
Somebody read the Bible scripture just now, right? Something about the rod could whip out ignorance from a
Yeah, that was
child.
Victor.
We cannot use whip, I beg.
If it
It's not
works,
everybody that uses
use it. If it
What
works,
if it's not
use
going
it.
to work?
Okay,
If it
gentlemen.
doesn't work,
We're gonna
find a better
take a
alternative that
quick
works for the child.
we're gonna take a quick commercial break and then we'll be right back.
Hi, so glad you are here with us today in Chat Room with Mac.
Commercial break. Okay, so
That will be commercial
I'm
break.
sorry. I had to break that off real quick. So this is what I think, right? Before I say what I think, welcome to the show, Dr. Adora. Welcome to the show. She says, interesting topic. Rachel says, I completely agree with. Can you complete that statement so we know who you completely agree with? Kid Bro Steve says, yes, DNA is important. The key to your success is your DNA. Now, what that particularly tells me is study yourself and then study your children.
Mhm.
If you are stubborn, if you were stubborn, study how you were. That will guide you to how you take care of your children. Mr. Stanley said something at the beginning that I actually connected with immediately. He knew how comparison was when he was little, and he promised himself he wasn't going to do that to his children. He was going to modify it and use it in a better way, which he's doing, and it's working perfectly for him. This comment just came in. I think every parent should understand the uniqueness of each child and correct based on that. Now, the reason why we cannot eradicate comparison from the system is because if there is no comparison, there is no motivation. There will be no need to motivate.
How do we even measure success without comparison? You can't measure
exactly. Yeah, we cannot measure motivation without. You need to know if what you're doing is working. You need to know if what you know is what is better or not better by comparing. So you have to compare. But when you compare, do you give the tools to make that child better? Do you do it in a loving way? Do you motivate? Do you encourage in a loving way? Or do you just say, see that one, you just get blockhead? That one did this. No. You have to, the Bible says correcting in love. Motivate your child. Don't just, tell them see this. A lot of parents out there, trust me, a lot of parents out there compare their children based on how they were or what they wish they are. So it's very, very important to take yourself out of it. Let your child be your focus. That would guide you tremendously. Now, before we go, I want the young people in the house. Victor is going to talk last. Before we go, first of all, I want the parents in the house to tell us what their expectation of their children are from this particular topic that we've just had. What do you think they should, how do you think they should see comparison? How do you think they should focus? What do you think they should do? Each have 1 minute. Who wants to start? Let's go with Jesse. Well,
Your
All
1 minute
right.
start now. We're counting.
Yeah, Daddy now.
Don't make us compare you to Victor.
Okay, this is how I think these children should feel about. They should first of all know that we meant the best for them, and when I compel my child, it's not to condemn them, but to make them do better than I. So that tomorrow they will beat their chest that yes, if not that my mom did this, I wouldn't have been where I am today because some of the life I'm living today because my mom threatened me through comparison, and it helps me to be where I am. So I think to compel these children is not that it's kind of punishment, but it's to make them do better and to be a better people tomorrow for their own generation.
Okay. Thank you very much. Mr. Stanley, sir.
Well, to parents, let the foundation of your reason for comparison be made and embodied with a lot of love. If you have to compare, choose to compare positively with an aim to make the child better. Always provide tools. Know your child, strengths and weakness, and how you apportion these comparisons. And for the kids growing up, it is not to tell you that you're doing bad. It is not to demoralize you, but it's a tool that is being given to you to help you to surmount your goals and maximize your potential. So take it with love as well.
Okay. Thank you very much. So let's go over to our young people up there. Let's begin with Tinini Tanana Biko Biko Maria. Okay. Let's begin with Stephanie. What do you have to say to parents out there that compare their children? What do you have to say to them?
Okay. The thing is with Nigerian parents, I feel it's better you know the capacity of each of your children and learn to grow them towards that. Everybody has where their knowledge to a limit that is good. Everybody cannot be equal. People are different and they are also best in their own way. So you work with the qualities and the peculiar qualities of your children and you listen, because listening to a child is like very important
Yeah.
in raising children.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Nene, talk to us.
Just find a soft approach to compare. Don't let your child have any reason to feel like they should be less of themselves because of who you're comparing them to. Always be positive in how you compare. Don't For the people that say when you compare you should give them tools to use, is how you give them the tools that would guarantee if they use it or not.
Yeah.
How they take that comparison will guarantee if they use it. You can throw the tools in their face, but you can take a horse to the stream, but you can't force it to drink water.
Yeah.
So just be more open and more loving. If you beat a child with your left hand, you have to use your right hand to draw that child back, so the child doesn't feel like you hate him because you're comparing him to someone else.
Words of wisdom. Okay. Victor.
Okay, I think
Wait. You know we are not friends. The reason why we're not friends is because the moment you open down your mouth and say it's you that they used to compare us with, they will compare us, they'll be telling us, can't you see, Victor? You were that good boy. So just go ahead and say what you have to say.
it wasn't like I was also perfect. I also had my own fair share of comparison.
Already.
I know.
I think let me just also say this to in addition to what they've already stated earlier. Like I think at the end of the day, we just need to study the peculiarities of our kids. Like really, and parents need to understand that there are several approaches, there are several ways. You mustn't raise your kids the way your parents raise you. You mustn't. And I understand that lots of, for instance, parents that raise kids in Africa always think that, oh, the way they raise kids in the West is like totally wrong. Oh, they are just too mild on their kids. You have to go hard on your kids. Yes, the Bible says that if you spare the rod, you might end up spoiling the child. However, there's also that healthy mix that I just feel like we should find that healthy mix, that healthy balance of being firm but in love. Be firm with your kids. Don't let them know when you're like really serious with them. Like when you're talking to your kids, let them take you seriously.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
act in love. Let them know that you also love them and that you're really actually doing everything for their good. And because I know parents that when they talk, they're like the lion of their family. Like when they come home, everybody runs, everybody just campers and covers, take cover because there's it's like there's a bomb.
You
Help
You
sound
just
me,
have
like
to,
help me, help
you sound
me.
like a terrorist.
yeah. So everybody just go and hide. But so at the end of the day, it's just important. Like let your kids be able to approach you. Really, I
Yeah.
think that's the foundation. Like let that line of communication be open. When you can really see if I can really talk to you as a friend, even when I say something that hurts you, you'll be able to tell me, "Oh, Daddy, I'm not happy with what you said to me." As
Mm.
I would like my kids to tell me that. Like if I hurt my kid, I would really like my kids to be so free with me to be able to tell me, "Oh, Daddy, I didn't like what you said to me. I feel hurt." I won't consider it insulting. I would because I think that is something that I was not able. I could not tell my parents that praying about the kid, for instance. And it's not something that we during our time could tell our parents because we feared, quote unquote, we feared our parents. And
Mm.
that fear was not a reverential fear. It was more like a negative kind of fear. Because I
Mhm.
believe, the kind of fear that we have for God is called a reverential kind of fear. Even though I fear God, but I can still approach God. Do you understand? That's the way we should be with our kids. Your kids should be able to approach you and actually talk to you about how they feel and you should actually be concerned if you hurt your kids with their. In fact, parents should be able to apologize to their kids. There's nothing wrong in it. Yes,
Mr.
you see,
Next,
African parents will think that this is a big deal. It's not even a big deal at all.
That
Like,
is not nice. We have a way of apologizing to our children, not to come and be telling them, "Hey, I'm sorry for because you did something bad and I take it."
Jesse,
No, don't encourage that.
no, no,
but
no.
you
I'm not.
know,
I'm not
you
saying.
know something that
Don't think that I am being anti-African. No, I love I'm a pure. For those of Minister
There's
Max knows
a
me.
way
I'm an
we
African boy.
apologize to our children. We give them good food, or you will buy them something, not by
Let
opening
me
our mouth
let me give you
and
let me
telling
give you
them.
an
You
example.
see,
Let me
this
give you
thing
an
is
example. Let me give you an
saying
example of how my dad will apologize to me then in those days after he finished flogging me. He will say, um, you know what you did was not good.
you're a bad boy.
No, you don't listen to that.
very bad boy.
You know it's out of love. The Bible says spare the rod and spoil the child.
You quote
Even though he
Bible.
knows that
Wow.
he beat you, maybe he beat you for something that he shouldn't have beaten you for.
So it's okay. Don't worry. Stop crying.
I'll give you biscuit.
You're a good boy. Stop crying. Mm.
So next, there's something Victor said that struck my attention
How was that, sir?
towards the fact that the
Hold,
Nigerian.
hold on, Sam. Sorry, I just want to take this comment so we don't lose the trend of it. Sorry, just I would remind you of what you were about to say. So
Okay.
Rachel says, Adnene just said, Adnene, you just said you just said a lot. I love it, but we are, we are we listening? Generations have changed. Do parents understand and actively move with these changes, or
Mm.
just stick with what they think they know? That's a good question.
Hmm.
She also says, as Stephanie at Nene, very intelligent. She's clapping for people who are very intelligent. Parents, listen to your children. Oh.
That's a good one.
Samson, go
We
ahead.
sang that song in school. Parents, listen to me.
Samson, go ahead.
So Victor said something that just struck my attention because, and that's what the church is using also. And they are making us fear God the way they are making us fear them as parents.
Mm.
They want us to be afraid of them. That thing just struck my attention. I said, that's why when they preach to you about God, they make you feel like God is very wicked. They make you be afraid that God kill you. If you do this, God is just going to break your head. Or God, so they put so much fear in because they carry that behavior of how they want you to fear them And when they are preaching about the Heavenly Father, they will carry their characteristics and give it to God.
Project it on God.
Yes. When you said that, I just like,
Victor,
that's not God.
Victor.
Okay, so let's continue.
Thank you.
So I'll just wrap it up by saying, like, at the end of the day, let's just be dynamic. Rachel says something very profound in the comments. Let's really, I'm not saying that we should change our values or shift our ground. All I'm saying is let's just be dynamic in our approach. Yeah. So all the good virtues that the African culture upholds, let's uphold them. The virtue of discipline, of hard work, and all of those other good things. However, let's know that the times have changed. You understand? Like, there's so much information out there. Things have changed, really, and that's the truth. Let me give one broad example. For instance, like in the African context, we don't believe in things like depression or things like mental health challenge. We don't be even till date. Lots of people don't even think it's something
We
real.
don't believe
But
in
it's the truth.
trauma.
Most of the African kids that you know have also suffered trauma, but it's not something that we do. It's not something that we handle. Okay, imagine a child. So many children that we actually castigate and that we condemn are actually smart kids who have probably been traumatized or have dealt with things, but they are not even free to talk to you about it because you are not allowing them. Do you understand? You're not allowing because you have this dogmatic, you have this one-way approach. You don't even believe in mental health challenges. You don't believe that maybe you don't even know whether your female daughter has been raped, and that's why she's not focusing on her academics. You don't even know, and she can't open up to you because you are the emperor of your house.
The emperor, the conqueror, the lion.
So all of these salient issues are things that we really need to, let's be dynamic, like be open. To be honest, I don't think that openness has hurt anybody, really. I mean, just be open with your kids. I'm not saying I really love disciplining. Discipline your kids. However, be open to listening to them. Like, communicate, talk to your children. Men are not gonna fear you. Men are not gonna run from you. Like, just talk to them. God help us.
Let me ask a question before I continue with what I was about to say. How many of you here, and those of you in the comment section, you can respond by saying I. How many of you here have actually can remember it being normal that you hug your parents, look them in the face and say, I love you, mommy, I love you, daddy? How many? This is including the parents, so everybody here. How many? Me, I know it has not happened for me.
It has not happened. It's not normal.
Definitely, that's not what.
It has not happened.
It has not happened.
It has happened.
What God cannot do.
You see where you are
we just knew
live on live TV.
Imagine.
African parents consider it weakness.
So, okay, let me love. Yeah, let me be going step by step. Let me go step by step.
They will show you by their actions, but not in words.
Yeah, let me go step by step. Stephanie, has it happened? Yes or no?
No, it has not happened.
Nene, has it happened? Yes or no? Jesse, were quiet, please. Nene is saying no. Let me come to Victor later. Victor was one of those good boys. Can you remember hugging your parents, saying, I love you, mommy, I love you, daddy? Yes or no?
It is now that I'm grown that I can hug.
Yes or no?
Yes.
When?
Who you hug?
I don't grow now like this.
Which one of them do you hug?
Before you grow now like this.
No, before you go as a child, growing up.
No, I know for that one now.
Okay.
Not true.
Augusta Lisa, can you remember that happening?
I did. I actually did.
Okay. No, for your parents. I'm talking about your parents. So we are talking about your parents.
While you were growing up.
Yeah.
Okay.
As a child, yes.
Okay,
that's wonderful.
How about you? Okay.
It's only my mom. My mom, yes, but not my dad.
Mm-hmm. Me and my dad, when we see, like when he came to visit, when he came to the United States to visit, we've not seen in like 10 years. And we saw. Welcome, sir.
Like friends.
It was a very formal, relationship that you had. Exactly. Formal, business. Like,
later, let's take some comments. Rachel says she's clapping for Victor. Kidbro says you are the physical example of God in the house. Yes, I agree. Adora says mental health is important. I saw a video yesterday of a man who committed suicide at Heathrow airport because he was deported. I'm sure he felt as a failure and preferred to die than go back to Nigeria. Well, yes, we're going to be talking about mental health very soon. I'm going to bring in one of my doctor friends, and we're going to be talking about that and the impact it has, especially in Africans, because that's something that we need to learn. But at this point, I want to segue real quick to show you guys this. This is a latest song that just came out. It's titled "Who Gets to Take the Glory?" Who gets to take the glory? And this song was done by our special brother, who we do not like right now, who all the children that they've
Wait.
in
Put
life.
that picture back there. Is that you, Victor? That's not you.
No, this is not Victor.
Because he doesn't have muscle like that.
Good voice. I know good voice, you know.
Can't press up. Cannot do press up.
Why is it not your face that is there? Who is that one? Is that your cousin?
They are comparing me to people that have muscle. You see, this is what we just talked about. This is exactly what we just talked about.
I would have played the song. I'd have played the song, but YouTube is going to flag the whole show because of the song. So we're gonna have a special show for the music interview and all that. But really though, guys, it's been wonderful. It's been wonderful. I hope and pray that all parents get to see this video so that they can learn from their children, and children get to see this video so they can learn from the parents here. That's why we need to. That's why we need a constructive comparison. Yes, I agree. Kid Bro Street says, "I'm never. Sorry, I was never. Oh, he never hugged his parents and said I love you because he was abused. We need to talk. Kid Bro, let's connect maybe this week so we can talk about when we can bring you on and talk about let's go deep into the whole situation. So people, Sam Sofsa.
Yes.
What do you have to say about children being compared to parents and parents not comparing constructively? 2 minutes.
All I have to say about this is that I'm not against comparison, but you have to be constructive in your comparison with love. And if you find out that it's not working, because when you do, you have to check mate to see if you are actually making progress. Because the purpose of you, in quote, making a comparison, is for the child to excel, unless otherwise. Because if you want the child to succeed, to excel, and the comparison you're giving is not working, you need to change the method. Instead of comparing the child to something, why don't you just use another method that is going to work for the child? Because I have other methods I can use. Because, like, for instance, you can use, like we say, yourself. And yourself cannot be used as a comparison. You can just live a life of excellence in the life of that child. Let that child be seeing you excelling and working hard. For instance, even when you going to work and coming back, for that child seeing you going to work and coming back is a big motivation for that child. Seeing you going to work and doing everything, seeing you doing your paperwork and showing the child how to love, care about the child, it motivates the child. Because sometimes the child will even ask the parents, "Dad, how do you do it at work? How do you cope?" and other stuff. You now get to understand that this child is really connecting to you because of your lifestyle. So there are other ways you can use to motivate a child to excel in life. And we have to also understand that it's not only book that makes a child progress. It's not only education, like school, that makes a child progress. There are some people that didn't even go to school, but they are successful. But the reason why you have to encourage the child, you just want the child to be able to live a standard of life and be able to communicate in this society. So you give them that basic education and encouragement, and don't bring them down with comparison, but use the method that will work. That's my take. Use the method that will work.
All right. Thank you very much, Samsov. Thank you. While you were talking, Rachel commented, she said, Jacinta, so you give your children food to apologize. Fear God, though. Ina says, I did that with my parents. Okay, that's nice. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's been real. It's been very, very real here at Chatroom. Thank you very, very much, Mr. Stanley. Thank you very, very much, sir. Thank you. We do appreciate you. We appreciate your time. We appreciate everything. Jacinta, Stephanie, Nene, thank you very much for coming on. Victor, now the moment you say it's you that they were using as the yardstick. Okay. Anyway, Sha, thank you very much for coming. But we do appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. And catch you all next week. Same time, same place, same station. Let's have a beautiful week. Okay.
What's popping?
It's your boy Matt. I want to introduce a show to you. It's called Chatroom with Max.
Shake it, boom.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Pay attention whenever you're